What kind of mother lets a child believe she was the reason someone left? That thought slammed into me like a punch to the chest as I stared out the rain-smeared window of the cafe in Portland, pretending everything was fine. But inside, I was breaking. Every time I wiped a table or poured a cup of coffee, I wondered if Lily was still asking for me, if she still believed I abandoned her, if David had finally told her the truth that it wasn't her fault, that it was his silence and my fear. For 2 months, I convinced myself I'd done the right thing by walking away, that disappearing was the noble choice. But no amount of distance could dull the ache I felt when I remembered her laugh or the way David used to look at me like I mattered. I thought I could rebuild myself without them. I was wrong. And if you stay right here, if you don't look away, I'll tell you what happened the moment he walked through that door again. And the one thing he said that shattered every wall I had left. No, 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 it's ruined. The little girl's wail cut through the soft hum of the morning cafe like a siren. Emily Carter, wiping down a table at the corner of Cafe Meadowlight, turned just in time to see a glass of orange juice tip over right onto a colorful drawing resting beneath it. The girl, maybe 7 or 8, had tears streaming down her cheeks as she clutched her crumpled drawing. Her father, a sharply dressed man with exhausted eyes, rushed over and crouched beside her. "Lily, it's okay, sweetheart. We'll make a new one when we get home." "It's not the same," she sobbed. "That one was for Mommy." Emily froze. She had seen that kind of grief before in the eyes of refugee children back in Bogota where she used to teach. Before she had to leave everything behind. Without thinking, Emily walked over, crouched beside them, and gently addressed the man. "Sir, would you mind if I tried something?" He looked up surprised. "Go ahead." Turning to the little girl, Emily smiled warmly. "You know, Lily, some of the greatest artists in the world made their best work by accident." Lily blinked through her tears. "Accidents? Magical accidents," Emily said as she dipped her finger into the juice and began outlining the edge of the stain. "See this little puddle? Let's turn it into something wonderful." With delicate, practiced movements, Emily turned the orange smear into the wings of a butterfly, bright and alive. Then she traced over the drawing Lily had made beneath it, transforming it into a stunning scene, a butterfly soaring over a castle. "It's watching over the princess," Emily whispered. "Maybe this butterfly is delivering your message to your mom." Lily's eyes lit up her sadness, giving way to wonder. "Really, really," Emily nodded. "Butterflies carry messages for those we miss." It was the first time in 8 months that Lily laughed, a small musical laugh that made her father go completely still. He stared at the waitress like she was performing some kind of miracle. "How did you do that?" he finally asked, standing beside them. "How did you make her smile?" Emily stood slowly brushing her apron. "I didn't do anything special, just listened." "I'm David Whitmore," he said, extending his hand. "And this is Lily, Emily Carter," she replied, shaking it gently. "And Lily is a very talented artist." Lily beamed. "Do you think it's the prettiest drawing ever? I think it's priceless." David stared at the drawing and nodded. "Yes, it is." Later, when David approached the register to pay, Emily was back behind the counter. "How much do I owe you?" $18, she replied. He pulled out a crisp 50. "Keep the change. It's the least I can do." Emily blinked. "Sir, that's too much. For you, maybe. But for Lily, what you did today, I couldn't put a price on it." After they left, Emily hesitated. She glanced at the money, then grabbed a clean napkin and scribbled something in neat handwriting. "A child's smile is worth more than any tip. Thank you for letting me be part of your morning." She tucked the bill and the note into an envelope and handed it to James, her co-worker. "If he ever comes back, give him this." "Are you serious?" James frowned. "You earned that. I just did what anyone would do." But that wasn't true. Emily knew most people wouldn't. Most people had stopped seeing children in pain. She hadn't. Later that week, as Emily wiped tables during the afternoon lull, she glanced out the window and froze. David and Lily were standing outside Cafe Meadowlight again. But this time they weren't just passing by. They were walking toward her with purpose. Miss Emily Lily ran up to her, clutching a new piece of paper. "I made this for you." Emily unfolded the drawing and her breath caught. It was her drawn with wings, butterfly wings, surrounded by smiling children. "You're like a guardian butterfly," Lily explained seriously. "My dad said you're an angel, But I think butterflies are cooler. Emily laughed. David approached a little embarrassed. She hasn't stopped talking about you all week. It's nice to see you both again. Emily said, her voice softer than she expected. Would it be all right, David asked, if we sat by the window again? Lily insisted. As Emily took their order, she caught herself smiling more than usual. Something about this little family made her feel like herself again. While preparing their drinks, a new customer, a woman in her 60s with elegant silver hair, watched the interaction with curiosity. She leaned in toward the barista next to Emily. That little girl, she looks like she's healing. Did that waitress have something to do with it? James nodded. You wouldn't believe what she can do with a spilled drink. The woman smiled faintly and said nothing, but took out a business card and slipped it onto the counter with a note, contact me if you ever consider teaching again. We need hearts like yours. Emily returned to the table with Lily's cocoa and David's coffee. Lily looked up. Miss Emily, can you teach me how to draw more butterflies? I'd love to. Were you a teacher before? David asked, genuinely curious. Emily hesitated. Yes, back in Bogota, but I had to leave everything behind. I'm trying to start again. And you will, David said. You already started something here. For a moment, everything around them quieted. The cafe, the street outside, even Emily's restless thoughts. All she could see was Lily's beaming face and David's calm gaze. But then, just as Emily was about to ask something personal, like what had happened to Lily's mother, James approached her in a rush. Emily, the woman at table 6. She left a note for you. Emily opened it. My name is Margaret Hale. I run a private art therapy foundation for children. If you're ever ready to return to teaching, call me. She stared at the note, her heart racing. A job, a chance, a new life. But then she looked at Lily, at the butterfly drawing, at the joy she'd brought to this child without even trying. What should she choose, the stable future she'd long dreamed of, or the uncertain magic she felt blooming here with this family? Emily folded the card and tucked it into her apron. Outside, the sky had turned a soft golden hue, and something told her this story had only just begun. We'll continue the rest of the story in the next part. But now let me ask you, if you were Emily, would you chase a stable job offer or stay near a family that finally made you feel alive again? Please leave your thoughts in the comments, and if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and send some love. Emily never imagined how quickly a few Sunday mornings could reshape her life. What began as a smile over a ruined drawing turned into weekend walks, chocolate-stained fingers, and evenings filled with soft conversations and shared glances across the cafe counter. David Whitmore wasn't just some millionaire customer anymore. He was something else. The way he watched Lily and her with quiet awe, the way he offered to walk her home after her shifts, even the way he listened, really listened, when she spoke about her dreams of teaching again, it terrified her. Because deep down, Emily knew she was falling for them, both of them, and that scared her more than starting over ever had. One rainy afternoon, just after helping Lily with a science project involving exploding baking soda volcanoes, David leaned against the kitchen counter of his house in Hudson Valley, watching them both laugh. Emily, he said softly, I've been thinking. She looked up, still holding a plastic spoon coated in vinegar. Uh-oh, that sounds dangerous, he smiled. Would you consider being Lily's tutor officially? I mean, more than just weekends. I'd pay you fairly, of course. Emily's heart skipped. That would mean seeing you both more often. Only if you want to, he added quickly. But Lily, she's been different since you came into her life. Happier, lighter. Emily hesitated. David, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Why not? She looked down at her hands. Because I'm not just a tutor anymore, and you know that. He said nothing. I care about Lily, about you, and I don't want to confuse that with work. David walked toward her slowly, his voice low. Then don't think of it as work. Think of it as trust. I trust you with the person I love most in this world. Emily nodded, unsure if her heart was beating too fast from fear or from something else. For 4 months, their connection grew stronger, quiet, steady, unspoken. She decorated Lily's art wall, joined them for dinners, and even helped David brainstorm a startup idea focused on educational tools for kids. He called it butterfly learning after that first drawing. Everything felt right until she heard the front door slam. Emily froze, a half-finished flashcard in her hand. David Whitmore. "I swear you've lost your mind." The voice was sharp, female, older. Lily looked up from her experiment, eyes wide. "Grandma Helen's here." Before Emily could say a word, the sound of heels clicked against the floor. Then she heard it. "That woman is not suitable for your daughter." Emily's heart sank. She didn't have to guess who that woman was. David's voice rose in the hallway. "Mother, please, she's a waitress, a Venezuelan immigrant, and she has no business playing house in my granddaughter's life." Emily stood there, pulse hammering. She could hear every word. "She's been wonderful to Lily," David said tightly. "She's educated and she's working to be certified again. She's not us, David. She doesn't belong in this world." That was enough. Emily gently placed her hand on Lily's shoulder. "Sweetheart, can you go to your room and finish coloring the butterfly wings?" Lily looked up at her. "Are you sad?" Emily smiled, though her lips trembled. "Not if you promise to make them extra colorful." Once Lily was out of sight, Emily stepped into the hallway and came face to face with Mrs. Helen Carter. The woman's features were sharp, her blazer spotless, and her judgment immediate. "You must be the famous Miss Carter." "Emily," she replied softly. "Just Emily." "Well, Emily, let's not dance around this. I'm here because my granddaughter already lost her mother. She doesn't need to lose another female figure when this inevitably ends." David stepped between them. "Mom." "No, let her speak," Emily said. "Please." Helen narrowed her eyes. "You may be sweet, you may even mean well, but people like you come and go. My family has been through enough." "I'm not trying to replace anyone," Emily said, her voice cracking. "I just wanted to be there for her, for both of them." "Then leave," Helen said coldly, "before more damage is done." Emily's chest tightened. She turned to David, searching his eyes. "Say something." He looked torn in a way that shattered her. "I didn't invite her," he finally said, "but she is Lily's grandmother. And I don't want to make this worse for her." There it was, the silence, the lack of defense, the crack that opened the floor beneath her. Emily nodded, trying not to let the tears fall. "I'll pack my things." "Emily, please." "No, David. Maybe she's right. Maybe I don't belong in your world." Lily was waiting in her room, butterfly drawing in hand. "Are you leaving?" Emily knelt, hugging her tightly. "Just for now, princess. You didn't do anything wrong. This is just hard for grown-ups sometimes." Lily's voice cracked. "But you said we were a team. We still are." Emily left the house quietly, every step like breaking glass beneath her feet. That night, she packed her things, called her cafe manager, and requested a transfer to Portland, Oregon. Far away, far enough to start over again. A week later, David found an envelope at Cafe Meadowlight addressed to him. Inside was a note in Emily's familiar script. "Maybe your mother's right. Maybe I mistook gratitude for something deeper. But I love that little girl like my own. Please take care of her, and thank you for the butterflies." That night, David couldn't sleep. Lily cried herself to exhaustion, and somewhere in Portland, Emily stood in a new cafe, staring blankly at the espresso machine, feeling more lost than she had in years. But neither of them knew yet this wasn't the end. It was only the storm before the miracle. We'll continue in the next part of the story. But tell me this. Do you think David should have defended Emily? Or was he right to keep the peace for Lily's sake? Let us know in the comments, and if this part moved, you please tap the heart and give the video a like to help us keep telling stories that matter. 2 months passed, and though the snow melted in Portland and spring crept into the sidewalks, Emily's world stayed cold. The rhythm of her new cafe job was predictable, almost numb. Customers smiled, co-workers joked, but no one asked about her butterflies. No one brought drawings. No one had a little girl who looked at her like she hung the moon. At night, she studied. She worked hard on her teacher recertification, throwing herself into books and online classes as if she could bury the ache in her chest under paperwork. But it didn't work, because when she closed her eyes, she still saw Lily's face and David's silence. Then one Thursday afternoon, as she was restocking napkins, her coworker Carmela whispered, "There's a very serious-looking man here asking for you. He's got a folder in his hand and worry in his eyes." Emily's heart dropped. She knew before she even turned around. David. She hadn't seen him since the day she walked out of his life. Now he stood across the cafe floor looking thinner, more tired, but his eyes lit up the moment they met hers. "Emily," he said quietly, "can we talk?" She didn't respond right away. She glanced at her apron, the coffee stains on her sleeves, the heavy silence that had followed her every day in Portland. "I only have 20 minutes, she said flatly. "That's all I need." They walked to a quiet diner around the corner. David ordered tea but didn't touch it. His hands shook slightly as he opened the folder and slid it across the table. Emily stared at the documents, sketches, business plans, app designs. The logo at the top read, "Butterfly Learning." "You did this?" she asked, surprised. "You inspired this," he said. "Every game, every activity, it's all built on the things you taught Lily. I've invested everything. Sold my shares, closed my old office. I'm opening the first learning center in Hudson Valley." Her eyes welled up. "Why are you telling me this? Because I don't want to do it without you? I need you not just professionally, Emily. I need you in our lives." She shook her head. "You let me walk away." "I was a coward," he admitted. "I should have stood up to my mother. I should have stood up for you." Emily's voice cracked. "It broke me, David. I thought I could handle rejection. But Lily, I left my heart behind when I left her." David pulled something from his pocket, a small envelope. Inside, a folded drawing, Lily's handwriting. It was a butterfly family, 3 of them flying together. "She's been asking for you every single day," he said, voice tight with emotion. "She had a breakdown at school. She blamed herself for your leaving. I told her the truth, that it was my fault." Emily stared at the drawing and something in her chest shifted. She had tried so hard to build a new life, but the one that felt like home had never left her heart. "She needs you," David said, "and I do too." Emily was quiet for a long time. Then she reached into her own bag and pulled out something small, the business card of the woman who once offered her a job in Boston. "I got this the day we met. I kept it all this time. I almost called, but I never could. Why not? Because you and Lily were the only future that ever made sense to me." David reached for her hand gently. "Come home, Emily. Not just to us, but to the life you deserve. I've already paid for your teaching certification. I applied on your behalf. You're accepted into the master's program. You did what I made mistakes," he said, "but this I got right." Emily looked down at their hands. Her fingers shook. "I'm scared." "So am I," he whispered. "But let's be scared together." A week later, she returned to Hudson Valley, and when she stepped into Cafe Meadowlight, Lily ran into her arms with a squeal that melted every wall she had built around her heart. "You came back," Lily sobbed. "I knew you would." Emily held her tightly. "I missed you more than butterflies miss the sun." Over the next months, Emily became Lily's full-time tutor again. But more than that, she became her safe space, her laughter, her healing. Together with David, they launched Butterfly Learning, a center for kids who needed love play and patience as much as math and reading. David proposed under the same tree where Lily first showed Emily her butterfly wings. This time, Emily said yes without hesitation. Their wedding was simple, surrounded by children holding paper butterflies. Mrs. Helen Carter, who once scorned Emily, stood beside her with quiet tears and whispered, "Thank you for saving my granddaughter." Later that year, a new chapter began when Lily brought home a second drawing, this time 4 butterflies. Emily smiled. She was expecting. That night she wrote in her journal, "Love isn't perfect. It's messy and terrifying. But when it's real, it finds its way back even when it's been broken, especially when it's been broken." Now let me ask you, have you ever walked away from something because of fear and later realized it was exactly what your heart needed? Do you believe that the people meant for us always find their way back? What did you think of this story? If it touched you, please comment. Note 3, comment number 1 if it didn't land for you, or Gnome 2, if it was just okay. We'd love to know which country you're watching from. Drop it below. And don't forget to tap the heart and share this video with someone who still believes in second chances.